Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I am covering the tragedy out of Moscow, Idaho. So the internet is going wild right now because of Bryan Kohberger's attorney, public defender Ann Taylor, who previously represented Xana's mom. But she also represented someone else connected to one of the victims. And that is Korie Hatrock. Korie Hatrock is the stepmom of Madison Mogen. That is Korie Hatrock with Ben Mogen, Madison's father. Korie Hatrock, Madison's stepmom, also has prior criminal history in northern Idaho and was represented by Ann Taylor. Check it out. This is the Idaho court record search website. It's called iCourt Portal. I put in State of Idaho versus Korie Lynn Hatrock. Hatrock is the stepmom to Madison Mogen. There was a case filed in 2022, June 2022. And if you look down here, Korie Lynn Hatrock, and you look, you see active and inactive attorneys, you do see Ann C. Taylor. Ann C. Taylor, that is the attorney that is now representing Bryan Kohberger. Her charges were drug charges. Drug charges here. So Ann Taylor, or her office, represented Madison Mogen's stepmom, Korie Hatrock. So, that's two people now connected to the victims that was represented by Ann Taylor, public defender, Bryan Kohberger's current attorney. At this point, I think that's a conflict of interest, a serious conflict of interest. I understand that Bryan's attorney, Ann Taylor, is just one of only a few public defenders that is qualified in the state of Idaho to represent someone when it comes to a possible DP case. You know what DP stands for. So people are saying she has to stay on because Bryan needs that type of lawyer. But the state has options. The state has options. One, you could find another attorney in the state besides Ann Taylor to represent Bryan. Two, if there's no public defender available, the state can also pay for a private counsel for Kohberger, and the state foots the bill. That happens a lot all the time in this country. Defendants can't afford an attorney, and there's some sort of conflict of interest going on with the public defender's office, so the courts hire private counsel to defend that defendant. Or you could get an attorney from another state and bring them in at the taxpayer's expense. You got three options. So for people to say, no, Bryan must have Ann Taylor because she's the most qualified to handle a death penalty case, it's not true. There's others. Maybe Bryan doesn't care. Maybe Bryan doesn't care that Ann Taylor represented those two victims' family members. Maybe Bryan doesn't care. Maybe Bryan doesn't know. Maybe Bryan doesn't know. Like, he's isolated more or less, and I'm sure he's getting some information. Not sure if Ann Taylor, when he met with Bryan at the jail or the court, and said, oh, by the way, I represented Xana's mom at one point, my office, and my office also represented Madison Mogen's stepmom. I don't know if Ann Taylor would tell him that. That might be a violation of attorney-client privileges. I don't know if an attorney can tell a client who else they represented. And not sure if Bryan knows or not. Do you think Bryan knew this information? And if Bryan knows this information now, because there's a lot of, by the way, I'm exercising. I like walking up and down steps when I'm traveling. If it's now been brought possibly to Bryan's attention because the media is now covering this potential conflict of interest, do you think that Bryan will not care? Or do you think he'll ask for his own attorney, Ann Taylor, to recuse himself? Or do you think Bryan is going to consult with Ann Taylor and say, you know, you represent the victims, can you be fair with me? And Ann Taylor gives him the pitch, and he keeps Ann Taylor? Remains to be seen. I'm going to be monitoring the court docket. As a matter of fact, I think they took this case off, the Kohberger case off the Lake Tahoe County court site. But definitely be monitoring to see if Bryan Kohberger files any motions, pro se motions on his own, asking for a new attorney. And even if he asks, will the judge grant it? Even if Ann Taylor recuses herself because this has been brought to light, the judge can deny that and say, no, you're going to represent him. That's possible too. So, and then maybe there's just nothing of nothing. And this just continues to go on, and there's no mention about this potential conflict of interest. It's being mentioned all over the internet, but will it be mentioned in a courtroom or court documents? Subscribe to my channel, like, hit the notification button. Attorney recusal. Will Bryan Kohberger get a new public defender? Oh, by the way, with Madison, not saying that Ann Taylor represented Madison Mogen's stepmom, her herself, but her office definitely did, because she's Ann Taylor's listed. So there was other names of public defenders, but it was her office. Her office, the public defender's office. And to me, that seems like a conflict of interest. Might not seem like a conflict of interest to you. If you don't think it is, I'd love to hear why. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. We'll talk soon. Already heart pumping. Getting ready to report cases today. Everyone be safe. God bless. Stay healthy.